This podcast is rated R for restricted. Under 17 requires accompanying parent or adult guardian. Mission 250.
Welcome to the Mission 250 Filmcast, where we are watching the best movies ever made, according to IMDb. Sometimes. This week, not so much. But we're doing bonus episodes because we're all still stuck inside. I'm one of your hosts, Stenny, and joining me are...
John?
Some asshole that wasn't ready.
Yeah, that's right.
And this week, we are watching the 2018 movie... Well, first of all, Me and John have been selecting these bonus episodes so far, and we thought that since we're about to force... TC to watch all three of the Star Wars movies in a row, which are coming up the next 3 weeks. We gave him a little chance of
apparently the only thing in my mind that ever stuck was the Hotel of Mumbai. I don't fucking know.
Hotel
halfway through.
And
I got about halfway through, and I was like, "Why did I fucking mention this?"
Yeah,
I don't even know.
I remember distinctly saying, it sounds like there's going to be a lot of murder and death, and it's not. And you're like, no, it's just part of it. It's okay.
The story was still there, but it just beats you over the head with it about fucking 20 minutes, 30 minutes in. You're like, all right, I get it. Yep, it's a terrorist attack. Woo. Fuck.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's all right. I mean, I feel like there's gonna be 3 negatives here. It's what can you do?
We'll see.
Sometimes your memory sucks, and you are like, "Hey,
negative on the movie you recommend."
I'm on the spot. The only one I remember is Hotel Mumbai. That's it.
Did you confuse this with some other movie or something?
No, I just didn't remember any other ones that I've seen as of late. That was like,
all you can remember was like this was a movie I'd watched, and you're like, "That's a good one."
I do think it's kind of cool that they went to, they went there and they filmed in location. That's kind of cool, but.
So it sounds like John. So TC would not recommend this. John, would you recommend this?
I sort of would.
I would too.
I'm not negative on this one necessarily.
I would. I'm middle ground with a negative taint. Because the movie wasn't great as far as the entire piece, but the idea of it is fucking sick. I never even heard of this fucking terrorist attack, and obviously it was very enormous.
That was that part made me feel kind of guilty not knowing about it at all. But,
I never even heard of it.
Yeah.
They got, The only thing I knew is when they got out of the boat and they just went into poop water. And I was like, that's I know that much. That much I got. Trash water with poop in it. Yep. He just got out of the boat and stuck in it. That's about all I know about India. Oof. And that's how ignorant I am, right? And then as further on as I go, it's like, shit, I didn't know anything about this goddamn story. So,
yeah.
Anyways.
But the synopsis of this movie is the true story of the Taj Hotel terrorist attack in Mumbai. Hotel staff risk their lives to keep everyone safe as people make unthinkable sacrifices to protect themselves and their families. And this week it is John's turn to go first.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Okay, I found that this movie was really terrifying. I think it did its job well, and also the acting was really good.
Besides one person. I got the one person.
Is there one? Well, okay. But I think that, and I was reading some other reviews of this film that just called it sort of exploitation, treating this like horror and also possibly leading to unjustified anger. Oh, hello, Samantha.
That's weird.
Samantha's here.
I met the director and I met the actors and they.
I went
to the premiere. I went to the premiere and was able to talk to the guy.
Samantha's going to talk to you a little.
Hello.
Okay.
Well then, you're here.
Hey, Samantha. How's it going?
You say hi.
I'm good.
That's great.
Aww.
Great to hear.
I heard you messed up your slide.
Dad, the TV isn't paused. Can I go pause it real quick?
Oh, okay.
Go pause it, Sam.
All right, well, she's got important things going on, but she's going to come back.
She's got the slide and the TV. She knows what's going on.
Yeah. Multitasking, that's good.
So maybe if you guys want to talk to her a little more, you can when she comes back.
Of course. Of course.
So where were we?
Scary.
I actually thought that generally the acting was good, and it wasn't it had all kinds of opportunity to just sort of say, oh, aren't the terrorists evil and so forth. And it didn't do that. It actually, okay. So Samantha's done. So she's back. This is
a very appropriate movie for visits from your child.
Yeah, I know. Right. Here, all right. Here, let's switch over. This is TC and Denny. You can say hi to them.
Hello.
Hello.
What are you watching on TV?
Pokemon.
Ooh, Pokemon.
Okay.
Alola.
What about Paw Patrol?
Yeah. Alola,
Paw
that's the Sun and Moon series.
And it's Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Okay.
You got to catch them all.
Pikachu. Yep. I got you. Very good.
sounds
Very
fun.
good. Well, welcome to the show. You're a guest now. So
Congratulations.
yeah, it's about what everybody says when they're a guest on it. Like, It's good to hear from you, though.
Can you tell them a little bit what Pokemon, what's going on in the show you're watching?
Minion.
Yeah, I know. There's a picture of minions over here. What do you want? Do you want to tell them a little bit about Pokemon? She's just pointing at the different things on my desk right now.
That's awesome.
Can you say hi to
Pikachu.
Awesome.
you? Like Pikachu? Is that your
Pikachu,
favorite
there you
Pokemon?
go. See, I told you. I know.
Is there any
I'm
Totoro on
with
the
it.
desk?
I don't know.
Nah.
No, there's not a
Totoro's-
Totoro on this desk.
Totoro's like Tintin. Nobody's ever heard of it. You know?
Is that a made-up Pokemon?
No, Totoro is a different character
no.
in a different movie.
No.
He's kind of like a Pokemon, though.
She's like, are you making fun of my Pokemon? Because if you are, that's not cool. I'm just saying. It's not cool.
Would you like to recommend any films to watch? Any movies or shows?
It would be
that
better than
you-
what I
that,
recommended,
People
so.
should watch while they're in quarantine here.
Frozen?
Hey, Sam, is there anything you think they should watch on TV? What? Oh, well, tell them. Tell them about it.
I don't want to. Can you say it?
I will say it for you. She loves the movie Yokai Watch that you can find on Netflix. It's a
Oh.
very odd sort of
Never heard of it.
Japanese animation about a boy who can see spirits with a watch.
I can picture it
She
now.
really
She's gonna come into LA to work on film and TV, and she's gonna go down to Comic-Con down in Anaheim. 100%. It's great. I love it.
And you'll go too, John.
Tell,
You
tell
love
her.
Comic-Con.
Tell her we will both. Me and Denny will both watch that, and we'll report back.
Yeah.
Thank you. Are you all done? You want to go back to your show and say goodbye to TC and Denny?
Bye.
Well,
Bye.
talk to
Thank you for
Bye.
coming by. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Yeah. Close the door. All right.
Close the door.
That was awesome.
Okay.
You got to keep all that in. That's great. Great.
All right.
She's more coherent than I am.
Yeah. No.
It's
She's
fucking awesome.
she's pretty cool. She is very brave today. So anyway, I was terrified by the film. I was like crying at times. I mean, the and again, it's late at night, and I'm like sleep deprived and emotionally unstable. Anyway, and so the woman with the baby and the family and the just sort of like
Yeah.
tension that the families were put under and the fear for their life. I think the movie captured it really well, and they captured the violence. And again, some reviews thought that this was very gratuitous, and I don't think it was. I thought it just seemed to be. I thought it seemed to be pretty just sort of like factual-ish. I thought it just seemed to be blunt, yes, but it wasn't trying to.
Dude, this movie has
glorify
like
it.
the scariest freaking violence I think I've ever seen in a movie.
But it was intense too much. It was like
But
too
did
long.
it seem
too
glorified
intense.
to you? I mean, I don't feel like
No,
it
but
was like.
So
No.
TC's saying it's too long, but imagine being stuck there where this
I
is
know.
just happening. So I kind of felt
Right.
like
Well,
that.
interestingly
That's
enough,
right.
guys, they cut out a lot of shit. Like, for instance, the woman getting out of the closet. That was not like all of a sudden she's back in the room again. I'm like, hey, what
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fuck? They fucking cut that because, like, in the premiere, I had seen her like they come back together. Like, holy shit, you're okay?
Yeah.
And she's like, what the fuck? You locked me in a closet, But like they
But
just
they
skipped
save
that
her
up.
when they're escaping in like a conga line because somebody hears the baby crying, right?
Right. Oh
No,
God.
right, but it was
different?
way different in the
Oh.
in the yeah, right. They like actually like showed it happen. It was
Oh.
like not it was not as they definitely cut some stuff out, I'm sure, for time. But yeah, it was funny. It's like, wait, oh, she's back. Hey, she's back. She was the worst actor in the movie.
So
Oh, yeah.
I thought the racist old white lady was the worst actor in the movie.
She was pretty bad too.
But she only had a bit part.
Yeah.
Can't even like this one was in the movie the whole time. She sucked.
But I still appreciated a lot of the other acting that was going on, and
Yeah.
and
Dude,
I-
I've never
I
seen
still-
Armie Hammer act so well.
Yeah.
Spoilers, I mean, everybody dies in this movie. When he died,
Pretty
that
much.
was the saddest part of the movie.
It
I
was,
thought.
yeah.
and it
was-
sucked.
it was
Well,
pretty
yeah, but it was
awful.
stupid because it was like typical Rambo.
No,
right?
it wasn't. Because I was like, dude, if
the
you
fuck you
fall
getting up
asleep,
for?
you're all going to die. You have to take a chance. Like, I was
Yeah.
totally on
Yeah,
board
I
with this
know.
plan
Yeah,
at
yeah.
that point.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's true. It's
Again, the movie was very effective, and I don't feel like it was like just getting off on what it was doing in a sick way or anything. It even again, I think it was allowing itself to be somewhat sympathetic, even to show the emotions of the terrorists. And I thought that it did it really well. I thought it was even about it, and again, that's kind of impressive for the subject. And I was horrified.
Well, you know what I was really impressed with was the fact that like the actors and the director were buddies, and they were
Oh,
all
really?
on board.
Oh, yeah.
Like they were on board. They wanted to make this film just to tell the story because, like I am, an ignorant American, had never fucking heard of it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So like they wanted to tell that story, and like Brotherhood there, as I call him, the Russian. He's doing his usual routine, right? And like to see him not do that as a person is weird. I expected him to how when you see actors and you're like, oh, he's just being himself.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds is just Ryan Reynolds. He's just a weirdo, right? Like, or their acting is them, right? Like that's not him. Like the way he carries himself is not the way he carries himself in Brotherhood or in this movie where he's like this, hoity-toity fucking I'm important, you're not. He's like a normal guy in real life. And it boggled my mind. It was the first time I've ever actually seen an actor. That person wasn't the act. He was actually acting. And he was doing it on purpose. So
is Jason Isaacs you're talking about? Is that his name?
Yeah, the whatever the Russian guy was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He was effective, and he sort of had an interesting turn slightly as he's this sort of like jerk asshole, but he still ends up being kind of protective.
She didn't get fucked 10 years minimum. Yeah. I died laughing in the theater at that, and I died laughing again at that. I was like, that is the dumbest line. But yet it is so funny because he's trying to fucking lighten the mood. He's like, hey, yeah, you heard me talking earlier. Yeah, I'm a fucking scumbag, but...
And I even thought it was moving when then the other Sikh goes and explains it. And I know it seems sort of like
that was the worst part of the movie.
That was heavy.
I don't know. I sort of I don't know. I like the idea of it.
It's like all ignorance is a lack of understanding. Duh.
Right.
And I was like,
yeah, but that's not how. That's most people don't wear a mask right now. They're gonna fight people for it, right? They're not understanding how it works.
No, I know. It's just there were some but the only problems I had with this movie were the non-subtle parts. Like there were parts that really.
Feels a little preachy.
Obvious. It wasn't preachy.
They drove it home.
Obvious. Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't
no, they did. It was a little preachy. It was a little preachy. It was like, hey, we're going to take a stance. Right now.
Even there, the actors were in it. Like they weren't, I don't know. It's still even there. It didn't feel, I don't know. It felt like the actors were trying to do their best there. And
I thought he was great. I thought his delivery of that was great.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he was good, but she was shitty. She was terrible.
But she's supposed to be.
Yeah,
she's a dumb American.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
every brown person they've ever seen.
Yeah. So I don't think it's been a while since I felt so like tense in a film. And
but didn't that tenseness kind of die about an hour in or so?
Nope.
Like I don't know. For me, it was dude,
I had a note that said I'm like, even though they escaped the building, I don't feel any less tense. I had a note.
Oh, that's great. You know what it was? So I was sitting here and I'm like, I wonder if it's just because I've seen it.
Possibly.
Because I don't remember that. I don't remember it dying. Like I don't remember it stagnating in the theater.
It actually grew in intensity as it was going on. Like I
would argue if you watched it
scared.
again, you'd go, "Oh, now I'm good."
I would never ever watch this movie again.
But I'm just saying in the sense of like, it's a noticeable dip that just like plateaus. It's the same intent. Like it's the same thing that it's the same thing that we would do like in music, right? Like if you hit the top shelf, there's nowhere else to go, right? So like when the cops come in, they've already hit the tents. They already hit it as hard as they could prior to that. And then they're still wanting to go further with the police. Like it's a new element. They're coming in. They're about to go in and run through the whole Taj Mahal. And there's nowhere else to go. Like we already were that tense. If I hadn't seen it before, I wouldn't think that. But since I had, I was noticeably like, oh man, I'm kind of like bored now. Did this happen in the theater? You know, it just took me out of it.
I read that perspective too. I honestly thought like one of the reviews I read, I don't know why I read it before I watched it, but the guy was like, first 30 minutes are super intense and then it kind of tapers off. And I was expecting it to change. Like I was expecting more police officers and for them to like start fighting back, but that doesn't happen. The entire time they're just getting run down by these terrorists. And to me, it just seemed like a natural progression of what it would actually be like in a terrorist attack, where the first part would just be a straight out slaughter of people. And then like everyone who escaped would be hiding, but you're in a fucking hotel. So there's nowhere to go except for the hallways. Right. When the hallways are off limit because these guys are patrolling with machine guns. So what do you do? Like, dude, that was like the weirdest part about this movie is
I love that exchange from the cops. It was great of them being like, we got to go in.
We got to go in. Like, the guy's like, wait. And he's like,
yeah, 8 hours out. They're 8 hours out, and he's like, "Yeah, we got to go in, right?"
Oh man, and that guy with his girlfriend. The girlfriend dies because he told her to run, and then he he escapes, but he like breaks his leg as he falls out. That was fucking crazy.
And that happened.
Little side
too.
plot.
That was actually one of the real things that happened. That poor bastard.
Oh really?
Yeah, no, he did jump out. They cut to footage from that was real footage of him jumping out of the thing. Yeah, I mean, I really liked the whole exchange from the police, like. And when the best part of that whole exchange later on, when they're inside and they're in like I don't know, maybe they're not in the kitchen, they're in the video room, and he's like calling the boss, and the boss is like blah 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 blah, and he's like okay, and he just hangs up and ignores him 100%. great. It was fantastic. It was just like, yeah, you're not here. I don't give a shit what you say. Bye. And I'm not even going to think about it. It was awesome. It just spoke to how important those two cops really were. I mean, shit, they could have just waited outside. I mean, shit, and fucking, you know, and India is no slouch, right? Like, they will beat you with clubs. That's no joke. I've heard that from my roommate who's, you know, he's from Sri Lanka, but all of his buddies, all their parents are from India, multiple different places in India. So, but you will get beaten with clubs and you will not come out of that well.
Walking.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Like, they are no joke. They are definitely not scared. They were just under-resourced at that time.
I mean, AK-47s are no joke.
No. Yeah, especially when you're dealing with a 6. How many bullets you got? 6? Yeah, me too. It's like, it's fucking great.
It's like, what do they have? One gun full of bullets? That's it?
That's it. They got one gun full of bullets each, yeah.
Because they're not used to their citizens having guns, I guess?
Yeah, they beat them with clubs.
Yeah. Man, that must have been,
I know. And when I talked to the director a little bit, just because I was more like confused at how like you make a video about India, but then like you don't take in any India compliance into consideration. They got cigarettes, they got all sorts of shit that is a no-no in India, which has been significantly reduced within the last year. Since I had seen the film, it's been significantly reduced on a government level. But I went down and talked to him. I was like, yeah, I got a nerd question for you. And he's like, all right, shoot. And they were outside smoking cigarettes, him and the 2 other actors that were with him. And I was like, yeah, so how do you expect to like show this in India? And he's like, oh, fuck, man. I thought you said it was a nerd question. He's like, that's a good question. And he's like, yeah, we haven't really thought about that far yet.
They opened it in the United States first?
Yeah. They had just got the cut done and they were premiering it in LA.
So, so who funded this movie?
Well, I would imagine it was honestly, so Bleecker Street is the company that has the rights to it. Yeah. Which is the same company that Joe and Ryan were bought. You know, they have the rights to their movie too. So I would imagine this was probably funded on their own with their own backing at some point in Bleecker Street. But
the budget for this movie was pretty high.
I don't know that for sure. So it could be a Bleecker Street production. I honestly am talking under my ass right now. So someone Google it and figure it out for yourselves. Don't listen to me. But I would imagine at the Bleecker Street level, which is not a shitty level at all, it's just not the same studio-backed situation. So honestly, I was just more like, I was watching the movie being like, there's no way they show this in India. Like with this, they're going to have to like cut all this shit out. They talk about cows. You can't talk about cows.
You can't talk about cows?
Yeah, anything cow related, they don't even fuck with. They just edit it out. It's literally that sacred. You don't even joke about it.
Well, that was that could have been edited out. That was just like one section worth of.
No, I know, but I mean that's all my head was thinking about. Was I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, they've got a lot of problems here. This guy's smoking cigarettes. He just put the cigarette pack in his pocket. They got like all sorts of shit. Now there was no male nudity or anything, which is their big no. But it's definitely an interesting thing. Like a LA guy has background from India making a movie because he wants to tell the story, and then like these white actors being like, yeah, no, bro, let's tell the story. I think that's why it stuck on my head, and then I watched it this time, and I was like, why did I fucking...
It's five production companies: Thunder Road, ArcLight Electric, Zeitgeist, and Shivhans.
Which would explain why they premiered it at ArcLight.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of people putting in tiny bits, being like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, $17.3 million budget, which is not small.
No, but if you have 5 people, it is.
Yeah. But I mean, I thought it looked... John, are you done with your review yet?
I mean, I still don't know. I don't know if would I recommend it to people. It's like, well, if you, I mean, this is not the kind of movie I feel like watching right now, but I mean, I thought it did its job. So,
yeah.
But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So, I mean, TC, I assume we're in the middle of a heat wave here in California. Part of the state is on fire. It's not very fun.
Sweating.
It was really hot in my house when I watched this movie, just to start it off. Like, I was already feeling unpleasant.
Oh, wow.
When we started watching this. Plus everything else is going on. Kind of like, not feeling great most of the time. But this movie scared the shit out of me, man. This movie was like, I think one of the most intense movies I've ever seen before. And it's weird because I would normally recommend that sort of stuff to people, but this movie is different in the way that to me, it felt like it depicted real events with such realism that like, it was just really upsetting and not a fun way where I could feel good about it afterwards.
No, it's not like a horror, a horror movie, right? Horror movies are fun, or science fiction horror, whatever. There's a sense of unreality there, so that you can just sort of And again, that was one of the criticisms I was reading in one of the reviews or whatever. It's just like, wow, it's this combination of real plus horror, and that's despicable. But I don't think so.
It's not horror.
Right, because I think it was
realism.
Right,
Yeah.
I think it was trying to convey what this is what it might have felt like to be there.
Right,
and it was probably. I mean, I was scared the entire movie.
Yeah,
and I was telling TC when you were gone that this time he got kind of bored towards the middle, but to me, I felt like the beginning part it wasn't even the scariest part. It was just the most confusing. Like the whole initial attack thing where the body count was the highest was obviously terrible and scary, but like. Once you escape from that situation but you're still in it, you know, it's like you get to linger on it now. Right. And you have to like deal with other people and like you can't escape. At no point in the movie did I think I would have done this and I would have survived. I would be like, oh man, you'd be fucked if you were in this situation. The only people who live are the lucky ones. And like, there's nothing else you can do. And I totally like, I saw some reviews of like the Army Hammer thing, like when he got up to attack him, you know, I don't know. To me, that really worked. I was cheering him. I was like, do it, dude. Do it. Fucking kill him. Kill him and escape.
Fuck him.
Yeah.
Fuck him. Yeah, right. Yeah.
And I thought, too, like, there were just things in my head, thinking about it realistically. It's like, well, there's 8 of you and this one cripple guy. If you all jumped him at the same time, half of you would live.
One of you will.
You're going to die.
But you're all tied up. I mean, too. I mean, not everybody's got their bonds free, so
but
you're all kind of screwed.
Just their arms.
Yeah.
Like bite the shit out of his fucking neck or something. Dude.
Right,
I don't know.
I also understand their indecision, right? I mean,
but then you start thinking realistically. If you start whispering, the guy just might get up and shoot you in the head immediately, and that's it.
Right.
Yep. Like the fear.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Because like when you're that close to death, people have described it as being like you'll grasp to any second. That's why people will dig their own graves when they know they're going to die, because at least they'll get to live a little bit longer because there's no better choice because you're fucked. Right. And like that's the feeling I had from this movie. And
that's the feeling they wanted you to have. I mean,
I was like the last half an hour, there were multiple scenes where I was like choking up on the couch.
Yeah.
Just it was terrible. Yeah. Terrible, but like, you know,
I
it's
didn't
kind of
think
hard
this
to
was going to
recommend
go that way. I was like, oh, they're going to fucking hate it. I got through halfway and I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
No, I would never watch this movie if I knew what it was. And I'm not sure I'd actually recommend it to anybody, but I thought it was really good. Even though there were some like cheesy parts, I thought the fear of violence was so prominent in this movie that it just like it made everything else okay.
Right. And again, that's some pretty good acting too. I mean, amongst all the players there, right?
I honestly thought the scariest part of the movie was the sound of the guns. I'm not sure I've ever heard gun sounds like in this movie.
Yeah.
There are
reverberating around
the reverberating gun sound.
Yeah. Right.
It sounded so realistic, and the fact that they would only use 1 or 2 bullets per person to kill them was just like they would, and the way the terrorists would walk through the place just with dead face, just like bop bop.
Well, they were highly trained. Yep. I mean, I read up a little on sort of the background here, and the terrorists that did this were very highly trained. They had gone to camps for this. They'd been like, you know, and it was allegedly it was the Palestinian military that was assisting with the training.
Wow.
So it was kind of government sponsored. Again, the movie was criticized for not outright saying that.
No, I looked up trying to find, because that was one of the things in the back of my head the entire time. I was like, if this isn't totally accurate, I will be pissed. But everything I found, this movie is pretty fucking accurate to how it happened.
And again, even when they weren't accurate, they're saying, well, it wouldn't necessarily be respectful to the people that died to have them play characters more or less. So we did these amalgamations. We just sort of grouped
like the hotel.
This
movie's called Hotel Mumbai.
Yeah,
and they say the Taj Hotel in the movie, but it's really 2 hotels that got attacked, so they kind of combine those two.
Part of it's dramatic license, part of it's respectful. So it's
you want to be able to tell the story is about the feeling. It's not about who backed who. I mean,
exactly. And that was like trying to convey what it was like to be there, and that's pretty impressive. And again, just to say, like, if they had tried to do it in a way, it would be like that really tried to make you just do nothing but hate the terrorists, this would have been really disgusting. But
do you think? I don't feel negatively towards it, but I'm confused because this movie doesn't really have a message, right? It's just an attempt to document something.
Exactly.
There's no real message for.
That's what. But I appreciate that. I appreciate that they were trying to show just the feelings of everybody that were there, and trying to accurately portray it. And I think that's impressive. And if they were trying to go, that's where it doesn't feel like it's exploitative. They're not trying to be like, look at these awful Palestinians
never
we
trying to. Yep.
don't you
right.
hate them? Don't you hate those Muslims? And some criticisms of this movie are saying that that's what it's trying to do, and I don't walk away from the feeling like that, right?
Dude, and like I said, I met the guy, and he's very much just involved in the story in his head from family. Right? I mean, it has nothing to do. Like, I can't stand when fucking critics do that shit. That's why I hate critics. Yeah. They don't fucking know what they're talking about. They're just fucking making it up as they go, right? I mean, come on.
Right.
They're like, oh, we're not going to talk to you, but we're just going to fucking assume based on what the fucking work was. Fuck you. Fuck yourselves. Everyone go fuck yourself. Watch it for yourself. Think about it for yourself.
I was worried towards the beginning, just because all the characters they were introducing to us were all white dudes in India. And I was like, oh, are the white dudes going to be heroes? In this movie?
I know. I totally got that. I was totally worried exactly that. I was like, oh, God, it's going to be the white people. Yeah. But no.
Nope,
but no, they died too. They died too.
Yeah,
they died too. Even they did their best.
Even the white
but
people
they were just looking
died.
for a cheeseburger. You know,
that's what the movie should have been called.
Beef. The white guys die.
Even the white guys die.
Instead of white men can't jump, it's white men also die.
Totally, you're right, Denny. I was really worried when they show the Australian and they show the couple, and I'm like, oh God.
I saw Army Hammer, and then there was the white guy, the backpacker, and you're like, oh, even that they're recognizing that these people are not from here, but we're going to focus on these people?
Yeah.
What about the Indian people that are about to die? Come on.
Nope.
I mean, that scene that was when they're in the kitchen, he's like, you don't have to stay. Anyone can go. And they're like, I've lived here 35 years. I've done this. This is my home.
And that guy fucking ate it by the end.
Yeah, those are heavy moments. It really is.
He died like a lot. Like all the deaths were really quick too. That was like the scariest part. The girlfriend who escaped and was bleeding and then ran and then got shot anyway.
Yeah. Oh Jesus. Yeah. And the baby was. I mean, in a way, it's over the top. The trying to shush the baby, but it still got to me insanely.
That was a bit much.
I was so
the fear. I
was
violence.
crying for that one. I mean, that one was like, it's so terrifying to think of being in that kind of situation. Holy shit.
I don't have any kids, and I had fleeting moments of thought being like, this is super manipulative, but the feeling of fear just overrode everything. And I was like, okay, it's working. Like whatever they're doing, I'm not sitting back and disconnected, being like, fuck this movie for trying to manipulate me. I was totally engrossed in the feeling of stress and fear that they were trying to do.
Yeah.
And it was unrelenting. It was unrelenting. Totally worked. I think it totally worked.
Yeah.
Fucking A right.
So good job, TC.
That was lucky.
Yeah. I thought it looked great too. The sound, like I said, the sound design was great. I thought it looked great. I liked all the filtering they did of the colors. I liked how another thing they did a lot, which was cool, was to jump between live news footage and real life, like the movie sort of thing.
Right.
And you couldn't really tell. Sometimes you could tell that it was real, I think, but there was a couple shots where it would transition from a newsreel of like the actual events from 2008 footage of that. And then there would be, I remember at least one shot where it was like a street full of riot police and one of the reporters trying to get them back or something. And it was newsreel footage, and it merged from a bunch of like montage and newsreel footage to that shot. And then it cut and the sound changed to the movie again.
Right.
Where it was like the exact same shot.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. And it was so cool how they did that.
They definitely spent time on that to make it seem like it was part. Yeah.
You noticed that, John?
I did notice it. It was great.
It added to the realism of it too.
Totally.
Right. So it made you feel like you were part of what was going on, or that you were in that moment when things were happening.
Yeah.
Right.
And there were people watching TV in the movie. So
we're used to that kind of footage as being like a crutch these days. Right. Like you lean on it because you didn't get anything for that thing. And then, hey, guess what? The stock footage works. And, which is why the studios have like a maximum percentage of stock footage allowable in a movie.
Oh, really?
Like you can't go over a certain percentage. Basically, it's like you can only use this much. That's all you get.
Interesting.
You have to use it. You have to use the creative and actually create a story, because that's what you're fucking doing for your job.
I wonder what movie used too much stock footage and bombed.
Right.
I think it's not movies. I think it's more TV shows, but there is definitely a noticeable attention to the fact that stock footage, and they used it in a way that was part of the edit. And I agree. I thought it was great. Yeah. It set you as a viewer at home, and then all of a sudden you were back in the moment.
Yeah.
Right. And it was it brought you right into it. Yeah. Like I said, this was a good movie. It's just, I got kind of bored again. I got kind of bored about 2
TC, you can't judge the second view. You're not supposed to watch this movie twice.
Yeah.
Right. You're not. And when I left the theater, I was like, whoa. And my mom was like, that fucking movie rocked.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know? I'm like, you're damn right it did. And I honestly, you know what? We all have to thank Karen Mulhern for that because she dragged me out. She was like, "Yeah, come on, I got these things. I heard about this thing. We got to go to this
sick,
thing."
dude. Your mom's cooler than you are.
Exactly. I'm in the business, and I'm like, yeah.
She's
Don't
bringing
care,
you to freaking
whatever.
opening nights.
And she's like, no. It's right down the
man.
street, and it's like fucking. They're gonna have like a Q&A with the actor. I'm like, all right, let's go.
Oh, and it was the ArcLight too. I've seen that place. That place looks cool as hell. You can see it all the way from the other end of the street.
Not
like at
the
the end of
Santa Monica one. It's the Pico one.
Oh, I don't know what the
It's
difference
like
is.
it's just like in a normal building. It's nothing.
Not the cool
special.
one that's like at the end of that long street.
No, but I mean, once you're in the theater, it's just a theater, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it was cool. I mean, like literally, you finished the movie, and then the guys walked up from the first row, and then they sat and they talked for like a good 35 minutes, 40 minutes.
Do you
Took any
remember?
question you could
You
want.
remember anything from that?
Well, I mean, the only thing I kept my comments till the end because I figured I could catch them.
TC told me a little story. You can tell it again, TC, for John.
Oh,
right,
yeah.
fine.
Sorry.
So when I was watching the movie, I had actually been, at the time, India compliance was a big deal. I mean, there was a lot of things that like the India government would not allow. So you couldn't do certain things without blurring it, without having basically an India compliance edit. So like while I'm sitting there, like I was watching the movie and like all my questions were related to like, how are you guys going to fucking show this in India? Like and so I didn't really want to ask that question with like a bunch of people were around, and because they were asking about like a lot of things that normal moviegoers would ask, which is fine, which is good. That's what I didn't want to be in. Hi.
Right.
So how exactly do you expect to show this in India? I'll take my question off the air.
I didn't want to do that. So
With your pocket
I
recorder
went-
just in their face.
Yeah, right. With my
Throw my
pocket
podcast.
protector too.
Nah, I put my glasses in there second.
Like I didn't want to do that. So I figured if I could catch them outside, I would. And if I didn't, I know the answer to this, right? They're going to have a heavy edit
Wow.
for India. So, I mean, that's all I remember from the thing. People were asking like,
What was it like, filming in the Taj? Like, okay,
pal, it was just like anything else.
Dude, that's so surprising, man, because I feel like this movie really, again, almost in a corny and definitely in a corny way, showed like heroism for like the Indian people who worked in this hotel.
Mhm.
yeah, but these people in LA are fucking jaded, right? They don't, they all want to be like, they want to ask
No, but
the
I'm
best
talking
question,
about India. I feel like India would want to show this movie because
Right.
it
It's
portrays
no.
Indian people
Government
as
is
being
a-
heroes. Like generally
India
does.
Now it also, India government takes things in weird ways.
It does.
trust me.
It also shows there was some incompetence there, not necessarily
Right,
incompetence, but the lack
There
of
was no-
preparedness
Right,
of
right.
the
But everyone's already
officials
aware
the-
of that. If you
Oh,
live
I
in
know.
India, I would assume.
Yeah,
I-
but that's
but-
not something you talk about in India. This
No.
is not the same thing as America,
Yeah.
man. It's just not.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Really?
I don't know where we are
Really?
now.
No, just like the idea,
honestly.
the ideals of their whole workforce is different. Everything about them is different. It's amazing how different it is, and it's not
TC, if
better
you
or
talk
worse,
shit
it's
on
just
our president, he won't buy your tires anymore, TC. He just won't.
That's okay. I could go down to Just Tires, and what do you think they sell there? Just tires. So I'll be all right. I didn't, jump out of a boat and go into poop water. So, I'm on the up and up. But it's definitely a different place, and they take things, very seriously. They're very by the book. They're very methodical. They're thorough. It's just how they are. It's literally how everyone I've met from there in India that works with me and around me, they're all like that. It's not like a bad thing. It's just they're like, how are you not like this? Right? They're looking at me like I'm the dick, right? Like, you lazy fucking American. So it's just, I can see when I was watching, I was like, I can see India, the government having some serious problems with this. And he hadn't even thought about it yet, the director. He hadn't even thought about it. And I think to me, I walked away like, oh, fuck, man. That's someone that really wanted to tell the story and doesn't give a fuck
No,
about some bullshit fucking rigmarole of the government and this and that. Like, who cares? Hey, guy, he should have said was, hey, asshole, that's fixed stuff like you. That's you are supposed to figure that out. I'm the director.
Yeah.
I don't figure that out. I just tell the story.
But it's
So
an independent movie, so you got to take on more roles. Maybe this movie also got.
I think
this movie was
great. I think
also.
great.
It was being distributed by the Weinstein Company when
Oh, really? At the
when
time?
they went bankrupt. So that fucked with the distribution. So like this movie was kneecapped because of that.
Well, right, because the licensing, the contracts were already signed.
Yeah.
They were
Then
gonna.
they had to find a new, like
distribute.
they were already trying to advertise, and they kind of cut that short.
Right.
Because,
and then the Weinsteins are going to be like, get every fucking penny they can out of it when they're going to
Yeah.
sign a new contract. So yeah,
So that
it's a
sucks.
nightmare.
I'm surprised that this is the kind of movie I'm surprised that I had never heard of once. I listen to a lot of like movie podcasts and read a lot of movie news, and I had never heard of this movie ever. And it's like,
and I remember leaving there and being my mother being like, hey, this thing's gonna fucking hit. Like, this is a good movie. And I never really heard about it again either.
I think so. Maybe this, I don't know. This was way better than Hotel Rwanda, I thought, for what it was trying to do. Yeah, I thought it was way better because Hotel Rwanda kind of bothered me with its melodramatic moments, and like it took
American
something that was
movie.
definitely scary and made it just cheesy almost, and it made me feel bad for not liking it because it just depicted something horrible happen. But I was just like, but I don't really care. Like, you're not making me care because you suck as a movie. But it's, I don't know.
Put this guy in a Marvel movie already. He's no good here. That kind of shit. Right. It's not art. It's not art.
Iron Man number
Ask
2.
Scorsese. It's not art. Okay, it's not art. Hotel Rwanda is supposed to be art. This sucks. Yeah, I can see you flipping out. Yeah. But I think that's why these are the situations too, though, where like this independent movies do a better job because they're like all he cared about was telling the story. That's it. Like I've met him before and my friends that are doing this. All they care about is telling the story. They don't care about the rest of it. They don't care about the budget. They'll make it work. All they want to do is tell the story. And I think that the studios, they just want to they want to turn and burn. Right? Like they want to tell the story, but they also want to turn and burn and then make some money.
This is also this guy's debut movie. This is his first full-length directorial
and if
debut
you talk
movie.
It's funny. It's just, this place is so weird. If you talk to him, he'd act like, he was really fun. He's fallen into it well. Yeah, I have to say. And I only know that because I'm working in the studio, right? Like if I didn't know that, like this guy would have been a stud. Who the fuck if I know?
Wait,
right?
You thought he was full of himself in a way he shouldn't have been?
No. I'd just be like, he's a fucking director. He's got the aura. He's fallen into the role. I mean, it's a thing. I mean, I watched my friend do it too. He went from YouTube star to director, right? Like it's a fucking mood change. It's not the same thing. It's not going to work every day. This is their lifelong dream to make a story. And it's great. I think it's great.
I mean, this guy wrote it, he directed it, and he edited it. This guy, Anthony Morris.
Right, which means it was a fucking nightmare for him because it was never
also
end.
a passion project. And he probably had there's a lot of writer-directors and editors that
most
just
of them
have, like, those movies are always good if you can let people let you do it. $17 million. That's a lot of money to invest on three
but I think he's friends with these actors. The actors were his buddies too, I think. So like he had some connections because obviously these actors were like you could tell they were friends. They were not just like, hey, you're the director.
Who was there in terms of the actors?
Well, the Brotherhood guy and then the other white guy. They were speaking about it in ways like that they all cared about it. It was not just a passion project from the director anymore. Like they had been involved and they had been integral. It seemed like because when they were discussing all those things, you could tell they weren't just there for the weekly edit. They were like,
no, right. That's why. So I did read
in his house.
Armie Hammer had an interview where he was talking about how that's why he joined the project because he had read about the story and he saw the script and he was just is a project that drew himself to it just because he wanted to be a part of telling it because he thought it was important. Same thing with Dev Patel, who there was something this happened the year. So Dev Patel is the kind of hero character in this movie. He's the waiter with the bad shoes sort of guy.
Right. Yeah.
He was also in the fuck was that movie called? The one Slumdog Millionaire. He was in that movie.
I didn't even realize that.
So Slumdog Millionaire came out the year that this happened. And it actually fucked with the distribution in India when it happened because a lot of stuff happened in India after this for protection reasons, like things closed down and all that stuff.
Damn.
And some people actually say it won that year because of this attack, and people kind of wanted to, in some way, this is the Academy for you. We're gonna help India out by giving them this little golden statue and let them know that we care.
Guess what, guys? Maybe next year you guys can come back, huh?
But we say that, but also it was the first Indian movie to ever be nominated, and it won, which is it's a pretty big deal because it kind of puts them on the map.
Yeah, but what bothers me about that stuff is it's very ambiguous, right? Because the guy's clearly from LA.
Is he?
Yeah, he could not be more Americanized when I talk to him. He's fucking from. He's got to be from here. Has to be.
Yeah,
his parents, I would assume, his parents are from India.
By the way,
he grew up here.
Looking up Terry,
he was born in London.
Okay, fine, London, America. Might as well be. It's still white as you can get, right? It's still not India.
He hasn't done a lot lately, but he was the writer for In the Name of the Father. But also,
wait, Dev Patel
oddly
was?
enough- no, this is Terry George. So the director of the film.
Of which film?
Of the film we just watched.
Terry George? That's not his name.
No, isn't it? Wait,
Anthony
Terry
Mars.
George. Oh, you know what? I got lost.
Yeah, the
I was
wrong
looking-
fucking movie.
You got leg lost, John.
Yeah, all these brown guys look alike, right?
Edit all this out because I was thinking I was on the IMDb page.
John,
for
it's
Hotel
hard to edit
Mumbai.
you out when you interrupt the conversation. What am I supposed to do?
I
Just make the
fucking
conversation
suck.
peter off?
I suck. Yes, you should.
I'll see what I
anyway.
can do, but no promises.
Anyway,
right?
no. But again, I was like just looking. I was like looking at the backgrounds, and instead of being on Hotel Mumbai, I was on Hotel Rwanda. So I was looking at the writer director. I was like, it's the same fucking writer. God damn
Look
it.
at this.
Anyway.
They did the same kind of thing, but they made it less annoying for
Not
Denny.
only are you looking up the wrong IMDb pages, you aren't listening to me. This is the first thing that
I
he
know.
did.
Can I say I've been up since 3 a.m. this morning?
I know. It's like Denny not using the webcam.
Can I
That's
offer
not-
some excuses? But go on.
Empty.
I'm sick.
Alright,
I'm
go on.
tired. I'm sick and tired. That's what
Yeah,
it is.
Sick and tired.
anyway.
I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know?
Carry on. Excuse me. He hasn't done anything since, but that was only like
Just kick him back.
2018. Yeah.
No, because I mean, I think they probably lost some money on it, which
Oh
sucks.
yeah.
No, that's not. Again, that's not how these people work. They all they care about is the story. They don't care about the money. That's the studio. They'll figure it out. Doesn't matter to them. But like, look at my
Yeah.
buddies Ryan and Joe, right? Like they've just been making projects too. They don't
Yeah.
really think about it anymore. They're like, on to the next one.
Dude, have you watched
So-
that movie that had what's his name in it? The one where he's stranded out in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
Is that a stupid question?
No, we have to watch that on here. I think is what I was. Which it's the movie
No, we
I
don't.
should have recommended. I would
Oh.
like to. I would like to. Yeah.
That's what was? Oh, fuck, I can't think of what it was called. It's got Baz Mikkelsen in it.
Arctic.
Arctic. That movie was.
Also bought by Bleecker
unpleasant.
Street. So it's. Oh, you saw it,
I watched it. Yeah, it was really
All
good. It was.
but tough.
It was tough. It was like a realistic portrayal of fucking being in the middle of nowhere and trying to survive.
Yeah, I mean, when Ryan talked to me about it, it was like lots of silence, not much, very little score, very little. It's very like in the moment, very,
Yeah.
it's similar. I can see why Bleecker Street was like, get it, yep, buy it.
It
Yep,
reminded
it's
me of
cheap
that
as
one
fuck.
with Robert Redford on the ship. He had like a boat that it was sinking.
Oh,
Have you seen
Okay.
that one where there's like very
I
little
remember that.
dialogue and it's he's just his boat is sinking and he's by himself and he's trying to fix it. He's in the middle of the ocean.
that's a tough thing to act for. Fucking
Yeah,
60,
that was a recent one,
70
too.
minutes. Yeah.
Arctic
I'd like to
2018.
watch
Joe
Arctic on this
Pena.
because we
Pena?
should talk. We should talk about it. I like it, but the point is that Joe and Ryan, they're directors and they've moved on to other projects now that they've just been doing on their own.
Dude, he's got one in post production. Did you know?
Doesn't necessarily mean
Maris? Anthony Maris?
Oh, dude. TC,
So-
do you know about his new
what?
project?
Is the
Who?
night I'm just
Joe?
reading this
Joe.
the 1970s true crime thriller that
Dude, you know who he's directing? Holy shit.
Yeah, he's big time.
He's big time now. This movie
he's big
sounds sick. It's called Stowaway. TC knows this guy. 2021 is the release day. And
Jesus,
it's got Anna Kendrick and Tony Collette in it.
Dude,
fucking
they
love
wrote that.
Tony Collette.
wait, are
Yo,
we talking
Stowaway,
about
Stowaway
Anthony
was
Maris
written,
or TC's friend?
Stowaway was written
By Ryan.
Like-
of
I
course.
can't keep up.
Yo, Stowaway was written by Ryan. In fact, I think I have the script in my closet.
A stowaway on a
Stowaway was
mission to
written-
Mars sets off
Stowaway
a
was
series of
written- yeah,
unintended consequences.
Dude, they fucking wrote that thing like years ago. I'm
That's
talking
awesome.
years ago. Like when I first moved here, Stowaway was their project, and then they moved on and didn't get anywhere. That's awesome.
They're in
No,
post-production
I talked to
right now.
Ryan. I talked to Ryan the other day, actually, finally, after a year of not talking to him, which was weird. And he mentioned it first. I didn't. He was like, dude, he's like, I just looked at our phone records and we haven't spoken in a year. And that's not cool. And we need to make sure we don't do that anymore. But Stowaway,
Dude,
was
let's
like,
get him on. Not to.
Yeah, we should. We know we
We'll
should.
talk to him
And,
first.
Ryan's
Get a
good guy. He's
baseline
good
and
dude.
then, yeah.
He's from Lynn. He's from fucking Lynn, Massachusetts. So he's still fucking blue collar, And he's he said that because I'm making hand over fist money working at the place I work at, and it's ridiculous because you shouldn't give me that much money. And like when I'm talking to him about it, he's like, "You're making how much?" I'm like, "Dude, you have no idea. It's ridiculous. How I don't have a clue why I'm making this much money. I told my boss not to give me more. She's like, "You did?" I'm like, "I did. I told her, why are you giving me more money?" He's like, "You're out of your mind." And so he's like, "Yeah, well, the payday hasn't come to me yet. I'm just, I'm still working on a lot of the projects we've been working on for the last 4 or 5
Dude,
years."
he's got Toni Collette in it. I feel like that's going to, she's been amazing the past 10 years.
Well, the best part is like, it's not what he focused on. He was like, I'm just happy to be, working on the story. And it's the point I was making about the other guy. He didn't give a shit about the money. He just cared about making the story. And I wish I had that passion in me. I don't. I'd rather drink some whiskey or something, you know?
Yeah.
Escape.
Yeah.
I got a lot of passion for escapism. Hey, where do you go?
Hey, it's a passion nonetheless.
Oh, hey, you know what? I'm going to go to the right and then maybe to the left and then stumble over back to the right. Hey, how you doing? So, you know,
Look at me, didn't fall over. That's a pat in the back right there.
That's fucking awesome. Stowaway is... I'm going to look back at this recording later and be like, I can't believe I'm even a part of this world. It's like, it's unbelievable. Like, you just have friends that like do good shit. You know, it's great. So that's awesome. We should have him on. We'll have him on.
Yes.
I'll talk to him about that.
That would be fucking a highlight of the podcast for sure.
It's not, don't gas him up too much.
Oh, don't gas him up.
I don't want to gas him up. I would say that in front of his face too. And he would laugh. He'd be like, you fucking asshole. I'm like, hey, I don't gas you up too much. I keep you on the same level as we all are, even though you're better. So, yeah, that's, I would like to watch Arctic, and we'll have to keep our eyes out for Stowaway.
Yes. John, are you there still?
But yeah, sort of.
Sort of. What are you doing?
He's listening to me pontificate.
Falling asleep. Sorry. No, I was like reading that. I was looking at what the guy who directed Hotel Mumbai is doing next because I was confused because we went off on this.
It only takes me 10 minutes to IMDb somebody. That's it. I'm pretty fast.
I know. I suck. Yeah.
It's like 30 seconds.
Yeah. Anyway, the next is this thriller called Peachtree, which is based on.
Is this not on IMDb?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, it's just like these articles saying what he's doing next.
Peachtree Place.
It's gonna. It's.
I said we'd take her down to the Peachtree.
It's this.
Nope, that's not it.
The guy is Atlanta Smut King. He like was born in a poor Greek immigrant family, and he would go on to build the largest pornography network in America. A man of stark contradictions.
You wonder why he wasn't getting any funding for that.
Yeah. Anyway, so interesting film.
I wrote it before Weinstein.
He's screaming from the,
maybe.
dogs.
Anyway,
that news came out in December 2019, so I'm sure this movie's just on indefinite hold.
Oh, you think?
Probably, right?
Oh shit, maybe you're
I don't know.
right.
TC,
Right.
is
That
everything
shit
still shut down there?
Well, yeah. If you can't pay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you can't
Definitely
pay,
shut.
what does that mean?
Yeah. Well, there's protocols by the states, the countries. So if you're going to shoot anywhere, you have to follow those protocols. And those protocols are very strict. So they're, mandatory testing every day. They're, you can't go on set until you get tested. The company I work for, they bought a company. So if you have the money, you can do it. So their tests are 40 minutes. I was like, hey, so what are you going to do? Of course, I said this in the Talmud.
Wow.
So what, you going to put them next to the taco truck? Like you can't get your taco before you get your test? He was like, actually, yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. I'm like, oh, fuck. I thought it was a joke. I told a joke that was true. God damn it. We are
40
way too
minutes
fucking
tests.
unfortunate.
40 minutes?
40-minute tests. Yep. Everyone on the crew gets tested every day. So yes, if everything and I'm talking about, dude, the protocols are if one person gets sick, they leave.
Yeah,
so if the main actor gets sick, they're gone for 14 days. No ifs, ands, or buts.
It's the same thing.
Reality.
Same thing with daycare. I mean, right now.
But it's even more stringent because your whole movie depends on
right.
Your whole day doesn't depend on the kindergartner fucking, getting sick.
I know. Or my daughter's
crazy.
not like a leading role or anything there, right? Yeah.
And the way that all the companies are looking at it right now is this is the investment to do business right now. And that's just what we have to do because we want to make content and that's the end of it. We're not going to worry about it. We're just going to keep fucking spending money. Netflix spends money left and right.
Trying to put people in bubbles like they're doing with the NBA, but basically it's like, all right, we're just going to
I think on the docket is chartered flights, right? So they pick up the actor on one flight with the crew member that's been tested, free. He's not corona heavy,
right?
And so they charter that person out and they keep them separate and they separate all of them. Yep.
Jeez.
I mean, there's an operations that's happening right now. It's actually really fascinating when you think about it because there's all sorts of new workflows that are being created based on this virus just to keep the business going, and it's costing a shitload of money. I mean, a shitload of money. When I say a shitload of money, like this guy's movie is a fucking afterthought, So it's like, it's wild. So yes, things are happening, but if you don't have the money, no, things are not happening.
Goodbye, independent movie industry.
Until Corona's over.
I don't know.
No, that's pretty much what it is right now. If you're not a big studio, you're not shooting. You're done.
Guerrilla style. Whatever happened to independent zombie movies during this? That would have been good.
Look, we've had stories from the upper levels where it was like they literally had to leave set and they just left the gear and they just lost the gear. They left it in the middle of nowhere. Had to leave.
That sucks.
So like, there's just gear in the middle of nowhere waiting.
Let's go.
Not really,
let's take a trip down to
don't
LA
get
and
it.
start pillaging some movie gear.
No, we're talking like, middle of nowhere, right? Like if they were on a set somewhere in the wilderness, the gear just stays. And that's it. Gear's just never gonna. The gear will grow grass over it, like as if it was like some sort of nuclear situation where like, you can't go back to fucking Chechnya.
Oh,
It's crazy.
That's what you would see in an apocalyptic movie where it's just like he wandered onto a movie set that was just covered in vines.
Yeah, but like that's such a small price to pay for like humans not being sick, right?
Yeah.
Like, cause leave it. Fuck it. Oh, what? Your sound fucking gear failed? Yeah, no one cares about sound anyway. Cool. All right, everybody on the plane. Let's go. Yeah, cameras
LADR,
on
all
board,
of it.
right?
Sound
Cool.
effects with my mouth. The entire movie. It'll be
Yeah,
good.
yeah. You've seen Lifetime, right? Yeah, we'll get that going. No worries. We got this. Yeah, right. Anyways,
So I got nothing else on this movie. What do you guys say?
I got. I'm glad I brought it up. Then
I'm glad you did
shot in the
too.
dark.
Kind of in a weird way.
Yeah.
I was not expecting to be so affected by this kind of movie.
Yeah.
I knew that
think
the
it's a good
story
choice.
was. I knew the story was sound. I knew that there's something that you probably never heard of. So like, no matter what, you were going to get something out of it, even if the fucking thing died about an hour and a half in. But I'm glad that you guys watched it, and I'm glad that I watched it again, and it reminded me of what I wasn't paying attention to the first time. So there's definitely merit to this movie, and if anyone's listening, they should, and they like thrillers, then I would see this one.
I wouldn't call it a thriller.
That's the
Thrillers
genre
are
of it.
fun. Thrillers are like, did Michael Douglas kill his wife?
Look up the fucking genre, guy.
Yeah, but I don't know. This movie
Oh,
kind of
my.
subverts genre a little bit. I would say.
Yeah.
I've never
Yeah.
seen anything like this before.
No, I agree.
Drama, action, thriller. There's three.
Yeah,
so it's got
that's
all.
none of those.
That makes sense. I think
It's a
is.
scary ass representation of an event that happened. That's
Well,
the genre.
it's not quite horror.
No.
So it is drama. It's action, and it's a thriller.
Action? You put the word action? I guess it doesn't matter. Whatever. You could call it whatever.
I
you
mean,
want,
there's
but-
people fucking moving around. Shit's blowing up. That's action.
Sure.
Michael Bay would call it action.
But
But yeah,
so,
I know what you're saying.
what would you put in the top 250, TZ?
Yeah. Yep.
John?
Yep. Because there's no other
Yeah,
movie.
I would.
I would too. In this movie, yeah, I can see why people might. I can see a lot of people wouldn't like this, just because
Yeah.
it's easy to overlook what it's trying to do. It's pretty easy, obviously, from all the negative reviews from this movie, and also the violence would turn a lot of people off. I think. But
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you have kids. You're not down.
Yeah,
definitely not wanna see
again,
this with
I'm
kids.
resentful that I watched this film, but I still think it was very good.
but all the
Yeah, but I think
resentfulness
that's
is stacking
that's every
up.
movie. That's like me. I hate movies. Right? I fucking hate movies. Thanks, podcast.
Oh
This
man,
podcast is
TC,
showing I hate movies.
TC, here we are, man. Here we are. We've been waiting. Was it 4 long years almost
Oh boy.
on this one?
Okay.
Come on, John. Darn. Are you more of a Darth Vader song, John? Darn, darn. We're gonna watch Star Wars next week.
Right.
God, John.
Okay, I'm gone beyond being playful.
Rap.
Timmy Vader.
TC, I hope you watch this with a completely open mind.
I will.
And
It took me 36 years to get there,
yeah,
but I'll watch it. Yeah.
we're gonna watch Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope next week, directed by
Okay.
George Lucas, written by
Write
George
that down.
Lucas. Yeah, this movie is I think everyone else in the world has seen it, so
Yeah.
we're gonna get some good. I've been looking forward to a fresh
there's other
opinion.
people out there.
Yeah, I think they're all lying.
I never saw that on Syndicate.
No, I never watched it.
That was a New Hope, right?
A New Hope, and we're gonna watch the original versions. We're not gonna tell you how we're gonna watch it, but I'm sure
Yeah.
if you know how to find those ones, you know what we're talking about. We're gonna watch the non-special versions, the non-George Lucasized versions.
The through a
from the-
VPN and within a proxy.
Yes.
Kind. Yeah, right.
Nothing illegal, of course, though. Nothing illegal at all.
Don't worry about it. I got a guy. Don't worry about Larry Arabia called. He got
It's a
it.
gray area if you bought them before. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't fucking
Justify it
know.
however you
Your
want for
Honor,
yourself, John.
Your Honor, I never said I would watch this movie.
If George Lucas won't give us what we want, we're gonna freaking take it from him.
Yeah, he's
asshole.
like a fucking ass. I mean, Jesus Christ. He's not hurt, It's the same thing.
he still somehow gave us these things which are wonderful. So
yeah,
you
his
can't
life
hate
is
him that much.
confusing. His
Yeah.
creative talent is very confusing.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Most of those people are. They're very confusing.
Yeah.
So, eh,
Sweet. I'm looking forward to it, man. So that actually works out because John went first and TC gets to go first. I kind of want TC to go first 3 times in a row.
Oh yeah,
What do you
yeah.
think, John?
TC, I think you do need to go first on each of these 3, and then because
that
they'll
could be fun.
They will be new to you each, and not to me or Denny. So
Right.
yeah.
Okay, all right. That sounds good to me. I mean, I'll take pleasure in it, especially if I hate it. God, if I like it, I'm fucked.
We got to do a thing in the beginning, John, to say that at least 2 of us like it.
Hey, so just throwing this out there, the 2 of us like it.
Yeah.
Don't listen to fucking Timmy.
Hey, TC's
and don't
never
listen
seen
to
it.
Terrence.
TC, go ahead. Here you
TC
go.
and Timmy, TC and Timmy can fuck right off.
Yeah.
Right? They were not contenders, if you know what I mean. So yeah. All right, boys.
All right, sweet. Thank you for listening. Mission250filmcast.com is the website. We're on all the streaming stuff.
What's up with the Great Act Theater, John? Any updates?
No,
there?
they're still showing films. They're still doing stuff
shit.
online. Yeah.
Are they socially distanced?
Yep.
Fucking A right. All right, so everyone should go to the Great Act Theater if you're in Rochester,
Wait,
Minnesota.
are they open?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
They've been open. They've been showing films. They've got
It's not California, dude.
like distance seating.
Yeah.
we
California's
don't do
fucked, John. Did you know?
We're
totally fucked over here, dude.
We're inclusive and
Yeah,
we won't make you
you guys
offended and we
are-
won't go
yeah,
anywhere.
I
I
know.
swear to God.
You're on fire. Soon you're going to have like a hurricane coming. They're
Then we
actually
had ash
showing
raining from the sky
interesting, like,
yesterday.
Hurricane.
I know.
I like that, John.
So they have like they were showing 1917 for free for a while, just
Oh, wow.
because, just as a
Like
thing
to
to
get
do.
people in the theater.
Yeah, exactly. But
Cool.
that's pretty cool. And they've got they
That's
still
awesome.
have their virtual showings. So just go to greatducktheater.com, even if you're not in Rochester, Minnesota, and you can check out some indie films that way.
That's sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Well, awesome.
yeah.
All right, guys. I'm
Awesome.
pretty pumped about Star Wars. I can't.
Yeah, this will
Not
be
so
fun.
much about talking about it with you 2 fuckers, but I just want to watch it again. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah,
What the fuck is this thing
I'm
called? A
looking
what? Is it
forward
called
to
a
talking
Wookiee?
about it with you
It's a
guys.
No, I'm obviously kidding. Come on, John.
I can't tell when you're kidding. Your camera's not even on.
Yeah,
I'll
there
have
you go,
my camera
John.
on
There
for
you go,
Star
John.
Wars.
Out on the high note. Fuck you, Denny. That's the moral of the story.
Okay, sounds
All
good.
right, buddy. Hey, guys. I'll talk to you
All
soon.
right,
Later,
next week,
guys.
guys.
Hiya.